It's March 9th, 1996. We're at Madison Square Garden in New York City for the Big East men's basketball tournament final. The University of Connecticut Huskies have the ball down 1 point in the final minute. All eyes are on UConn star Ray Allen, whose battle with Georgetown's Allen Iverson headlined this game. And maybe you know what's about to happen on this play. But do you remember what came before this moment, in history and in this very game? What about the moment after this moment? We need to explore some history and meet some people. We need to rewind. First of all, what is this tournament? Well, in the late 70s, some independent collegiate basketball programs in the Northeast US realized that to meet the NCAA's scheduling requirements, it would be in their best interest to form a conference. They invited some other nearby programs and boom, the basketball-focused Big East Conference was born, with these 7 charter members, plus Villanova and Pittsburgh soon thereafter. A mix of smaller, mostly Catholic schools with larger public schools. Georgetown and the University of Connecticut only played each other occasionally before the Big East. Now they would face off several times a year. Georgetown took control of that matchup and the Big East throne pretty quickly. Led by coach John Thompson and star guard Sleepy Floyd, the Hoyas won 2 of the first 3 conference tournaments. When the men's tournament moved to its permanent, high-profile home, Madison Square Garden, Thompson had a new star recruit to fit the venue, the best center in the country, Patrick Ewing, MVP of tournament victories in '84 and '85. This was a golden era for Georgetown men's hoops. The Hoyas won 6 Big East tournaments in the 1980s and made 3 NCAA tournament finals, winning it all in '84. And they kicked the shit out of UConn all the while. Georgetown went 17-3 against the Huskies during this decade. Their one meeting in the conference tournament, 1985, ended in a 21-point romp for Ewing and friends. Of course, that was the same year another Big East neighbor, Villanova, pulled off a shocking March Madness upset to prevent the Hoyas from becoming back-to-back national champs. Anyway, things picked up for UConn by decade's end. Jim Calhoun took control of the program, and the Huskies broke through in 1990, their first year at Gampel Pavilion. That so-called dream season included tournament revenge against Mutombo Morning and the Hoyas. UConn ended up winning their first ever conference championship, led by tourney MVP Chris Smith. The UConn men enjoyed their first March Madness in over a decade, and made it all the way to the Elite Eight thanks to Scott Burrell chucking this Hail Mary of an inbound to Tate George, who spun and pulled in under 1 second. One of those shots so famous that fans just call it the shot. That season kicked off a new era for the Huskies, but it didn't fully reverse their fortune in the Georgetown rivalry. The Hoyas went right back to beating UConn and seemed like they would hold the upper hand in the 90s just like they did in the 80s, until around the time this guy showed up. This is Ray Allen. The shooting guard joined UConn as a freshman in '93-94 and came off the bench for a team led by some NBA-caliber upperclassmen. As a sophomore, Allen took over. He broke out as one of the best scorers in the conference, on par with Villanova's Kerry Kittles and even deadlier from three-point range. But while the '95 Huskies had no problem beating Georgetown, Kittles and company crushed them in the final of last year's Big East tournament. And while Rebecca Lobo and the UConn women brought the first national championship to Storrs, the men lost to UCLA in the Elite Eight of their NCAA tournament. So, Allen entered this junior season with plenty left to accomplish. It's probably the end of his Connecticut career before he enters the NBA draft this summer. And Allen's been checking off milestones. He was just named Big East Player of the Year. He led the Huskies to a 17-1 conference record, and wait, what's that one? Well, would you look at that? The one blemish on UConn's otherwise perfect conference record this season was a loss to Georgetown just a couple weeks ago. And not just a loss, a humiliating blowout in which the Hoyas absolutely froze Allen. He shot just 5 of 18 that night in February. Brutal. So Ray Allen entered tonight looking for his first tournament trophy and redemption against the opponent that produced one of the worst games of his college career. And Ray came out sharp. This first bucket was a toughie. When Allen canned this three off an offensive rebound, the announcer sounded ready to declare this a different kind of performance.
He's coming out shooting tonight.
And Ray wasn't just creating points for himself. This is an unbelievable pass to set up the Kurt King scoop. Just before the 8-minute mark of the first half, Allen shook the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, jinked to his left, and floated to draw the contact and send Dick Vitale into hysterics.
Oh, that goes down. Oh, that's Hail Mary time. He's unbelievable. He's unstoppable.
Allen was 4 of 5 from the floor at that moment, cruising on the big stage. Over the next 28 minutes, this guy did not hit a single field goal. Wide open at the elbow, brick. Attacking the basket with a floater, no luck. You know the rim's mad at you when the ball caroms over the backboard. In the second half, Allen's form started to break down. This isn't his shot. And this is just jacked up decision making. Ray could have beat the much bigger Othello Harrington off the dribble, but tossed up this turd instead. That was 10 straight misses. With Georgetown's lead inflating, Ray didn't even seem to want the ball. This long dish from Deron Sheffer seemed to surprise him, and the shot rimmed out. It's no coincidence that this has happened twice now against Georgetown. Even on a broken play like this one, their bigs are focused on smothering Ray. Sometimes he can't even get a look, like on this play where the taller Boubacar Ao pesters him into a bailout. So while Allen takes this last-second handoff, it's worth asking if UConn's top shooter should maybe not shoot here. If you're looking for the hot hand, I see one right here. Ricky Moore is just a freshman, but he scored 10 straight points in this half to negate Allen's struggles and pick at a Hoya lead. This impressive crossover finish and one dealt the Conference Defensive Player of the Year a critical fourth foul. Moore couldn't get the call on this acrobatic one-man fast break, so soon thereafter, he hung in the air to bait the contact and whistle. Brilliant stuff from the 19-year-old. So there's a good potential kickout, but if the Huskies can't find the net, this guy's in position to clean up. This is Kurt King, and he saved this game. This play, with just under 5 minutes to go, seemed like UConn's demise. Just look at the reactions. Georgetown's tremendous center, Jahidi White, drew senior UConn center Travis Knight's 5th and final foul, if he called. But with Knight out, 6'8" Kurt King has taken over the inside work, like filling the paint for this beautiful lefty finish to cut a Hoya lead to 9. He scrapped on the glass to get a foul call, then calmly sank 2 huge free throws. When Allen still couldn't connect, there was Kurt King. Right place, right time, soft touch. When Ricky Moore's hot streak turned cold, there was Kurt King with the thunder. That's 8 of the last 10 UConn points, and that's why the score is what it is right now. So what's the move here? For the second straight game against Georgetown, Ray Allen is slumping hard. After missing 14 straight shots, will Allen defer to one of his less heralded teammates? Or will the Big East Player of the Year try to make it happen himself while blanketed by the Big East Defensive Player of the Year? The Huskies need points here if they're going to come back and win the first Big East championship for this group of players. Let's see if they can get them. Welcome to A Moment in History.
You got a little handoff. Allen with Iverson on him, throws one up. Unbelievable!
Unbelievable shot, yes, but we're not done. Georgetown's got plenty of time to bury that moment in history. And okay, yeah, I've been playing coy with all this Defensive Player of the Year stuff. The guy who won that award this year and last year also happens to be the conference's only scorer more prolific than Ray Allen. It's Georgetown's sophomore superstar. It's Allen Iverson. That said, just like the last play, if you're looking for tonight's hot hand, look away from the ball for a second, over here. Victor Page, a freshman from Southeast DC, was Iverson's right-hand man all year, but this weekend he's been the man. In last night's semifinal win over Villanova, Page scored a personal high of 34 points while Iverson was struggling. Tonight, while Iverson's been missing again, Page leads Georgetown with 20 points. When Iverson had to sit because of that fourth foul, Page coolly took over and drilled the straight-on three that put Georgetown up 8. Alas, Kirk King devoured most of that margin, and UConn leads now in part because Page missed this front end of a 1-and-1 right before that wild Ray Allen shot. Nonetheless, the freshman Page might be MVP of this tournament, win or lose. And he's right here if Iverson wants him, but yeah, I think the sophomore is taking this one, and you can't blame him. Iverson joined John Thompson's roster last season, and unlike Ray Allen, he became the team's star from day one. Iverson started almost every game as a freshman and attempted more shots than any two of his teammates combined. But for our purposes, the Big East Rookie of the Year didn't get it done when it counted against UConn. Almost exactly a year ago, right here on this floor, Iverson put up a ghastly 9 of 27 shooting line in Georgetown's semifinal Big East tournament loss. But Iverson's been even better this season, registering by far the highest scoring season in Hoya's history and, yes, a second straight defensive award. Coach Thompson insists his sophomore star won't jump into the NBA draft, but I certainly would in his shoes. And Iverson's brilliant year included a spotless redemption performance against these Huskies. On the night Ray Allen bricked UConn to their only conference loss, his younger counterpart supplied an efficient 26 points and ripped 8 steals away from the Huskies. Iverson stole the whole show and had people wondering whether first-name Allen might surpass surname Allen for the Player of the Year award. Iverson hasn't delivered a repeat performance tonight. Aside from the foul trouble, he's come up dry in these last few minutes. Ray Allen and friends hounded him into oblivion on this important play, and a minute later, he couldn't shake free for a clean enough look over Ricky Moore's tough defense. Iverson's most recent attempt was this overcooked floater, again defended well. He's down to just 4 of 14 from the field. So Georgetown's superstar faces a choice just like UConn's did. Does he dish off to the younger, hotter shooter? Does he seek help down low from Au, Harrington, or Jerome Williams? Or will he make this happen on his own? Ray Allen just eclipsed a bad night with one of the biggest shots in the history of this great tournament. Let's see if Allen Iverson can steal that heroic conclusion for himself. Welcome, maybe, to another moment in history.
Iverson with 7, with 6, Page missed it, Williams rebound, he missed it as well, UConn survived! Connecticut wins their first Big East championship, this group of people!
Thank you so much for watching Rewinder. We've actually got another UConn Rewinder over here, and if you want to learn a little more about Ray Allen's pro career, might I recommend some beef? That was probably a good one. All right, thank you, goodbye.